Out here on YouTube, there lives a man. A man feared by every single content creator who might have something to hide. He's smart, he's funny, he's ruthless, he's effective. He takes everything unflattering you've done or still do today, and he makes people see you for who you really are, no matter the size of your fan base. A man responsible for more swayed public opinion and lost subscribers than anyone else. Based on this description, it's interesting to wonder what exactly this man might look like. He might look like this, or perhaps like this, or this. Maybe, but that's not it. The most feared, the most dangerous man on YouTube is this.
Good, it has fish in it, and it... yeah, boy. Dude. My cake.
This is the time in the video where I would normally introduce Idubbbz's Content Cop and what it exactly is about, but since everybody and their grandmother already knows the answer, I guess there's no point. The main thing to draw here is that the series has grown gigantic over the last couple of years, today racking in views like epic rap battles of history on a good day. And the way things have become, Content Cop is no longer just a bunch of videos on a website, it's an event. My own very first encounter with the series was back in 2016 when I clicked on a recommended video link which led me to the Content Cop starting off with our hero venturing down into the sewers. And let's just say that what I initially saw did take me a bit by surprise.
I'm your host, Killer Keemstar.
I swear to God.
I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was so confused by what I was watching that I did click off. This is the truth, don't blast me for it too hard. But when I came back for another try and actually get going further, the main idea behind the video did begin to kick in more and more. And when I finally got to the very end, there was no doubt left in my mind that what I just watched was, at the very core, a work of genius. Let's say, a wolf in a sheep's clothing. Or better, an intelligent adult in a fake cop uniform running around in the sewers like a madman. The reason I find Idubbbz's channel so intriguing, simply put, is because it's one of a kind. He routinely takes heavy shots at content creators with massive fan bases, but never actually gets any backlash from this himself. None. You'd think that with his antics and behavior, by default logic, he'd be easy pickings for criticism. But no. Instead of attacking or criticizing him, fans always tend to end up falling on his side, most often even the ones of the Content Cop target. As far as I'm aware, this man right here has never gotten in trouble in the court of public opinion. In fact, often the people featured on Content Cop never even try to respond to begin with, and those who do most of the time just end up defending themselves. Most of the time. Some creators have indeed tried to fire shots back, but I guess I don't have to tell you that this has never really worked out the way they had hoped. All this is the reason why I'm here with you today, to find out exactly what is it that makes Content Cop so effective at what it does. What qualities does Idubbbz have to set him apart from everyone else and make him untouchable when it comes to criticism? Why is it that every time someone tries to swing back at him, they always end up swinging at nothing? Going back in time a couple Content Cops, you might remember the Bully. The Bully had built a career on making fun of other people, and to be frank, his insults usually were indeed effective, whether they carried real actual meaning or not. In short, he was not a stranger to offending others. Enter Idubbbz. After receiving a blow about his appearance, the Bully did as he was used to doing and shot back the same way. But unlike ever before, now his insults didn't work. They fell flat, they landed on deaf ears. This because of something very simple. Idubbbz at all times wears this sort of protecting armor around him, an invisible force field which shields him from any attack the Bully could ever come up with. A force field called indifference. Let's pause for a second. Look at this frame and tell me what you see. Well, yes, it's a grown man with paint in his mouth, but never mind that. Look, past that. Look at the eyes, look at the expression, look at the overall presence. It all screams one thing. Whatever you have to throw at me, I do not care. It's this indifference that makes Idubbbz so difficult to criticize. Criticism doesn't have any effect on him, and since YouTube comment sections operate very much in a mob mentality, where a lot of younger people don't form their own views but instead base their opinions on the opinions of others, it also doesn't have any effect on his fans. It doesn't have any effect, period. I was originally planning to name this video how indifference makes you untouchable, but ultimately that wouldn't be giving Idubbbz enough credit. See, anyone can just go and claim indifference. Anyone can tell themselves that they don't care what other people think. But it's a whole other story to say one thing and actually do so. It takes a lot of certain type of personality. It takes confidence. Jumping back to the quarrel between Idubbbz and the bully again, let's make a quick comparison of how they handle personal attacks. First off, Idubbbz makes fun of the bully's supposedly weak chin, to which he answers with minutes upon minutes of explanations and condescending banter on why that is not true and overall just a weak insult.
You're showing people that you are extremely self-conscious.
Ooh, damn. I never even thought about it that way. Like, let me get this straight. I'm insecure because I have a few pictures that I posted on the internet. And of course, I'm insecure about, showing myself. Alright. I'm still apparently insecure and trying to hide my face. I must be just too insecure for his taste, right? Like, he must be looking for someone that's secure in their body part. My 3-second transitions, that's the real problem. I'm also insecure. At this point, just honestly. Well, I was born without without a chin. I actually just don't have a chin, guys. Like, guys, did you hear him? I have no chin? What? Not only am I missing an essential body part of the mandibular prominence, that's pretty much flawless logic right there.
After this, he fires back by making fun of Idubbbz's hairline. For Idubbbz, this is the amount of time he dwells on the insult.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Receding hairline here.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, and he also decides to shave off the front of his head because I don't really know. Why not? Bullies always prey on the weak since it's easy. Bullies never prey on the strong since it's not possible. I've watched Idubbbz for a while now and I've never seen him back down from anyone. Even when he gets challenged to a street fight, he drives all the way out there only for his challenger to never show up. Yes, this idea that differences could ever really be settled with random public fisticuffs is downright idiotic, and younger, more impressionable viewers, as well as even some adult creators, need to stop pretending the world works that way, but at least he showed up. And for that, you've got to give him credit. Personalities aren't defined by criticism dealt out, they're defined by criticism taken in. The infamous chin insult was never really about the chin, it was about the bully's insecurity. Both of these people threw jabs at each other. Both of these people took it very differently. One arguably a bit better than the other. This because when it comes to personality, Idubbbz is by far one of the most assured, most confident creators on the platform. But of course, confidence alone doesn't spare you from justified, properly constructed criticism. More often than not, Idubbbz actually falls guilty of the same things he badmouths other people for. So how is it he gets away with it while others do not? Here we have The Saint. The Saint got herself into a bit of trouble a while back when she received a starring role in her very own Content Cup. As the 20-minute expose effectively puts it, turns out this pure, good-hearted saint of a person wasn't actually that pure. But on the other hand, the accusations thrown at her could be seen to have one core flaw. A flaw of who's the one doing the accusing. In fact, in this instance, we might actually have the classic case of the pot calling the kettle black. Before we move any further, let me make one thing clear. I don't know Ian Carter personally, I know nothing about him, so all I can do here is talk about the character he publicly plays, Idubbbz. Him. Not him. Him. That said, let me make another thing clear. Idubbbz is not a good person. He's very much a bad one. I won't go into further detail on this because frankly I think it'd be redundant. I hope it'd be redundant. And I hope everyone watching is intelligent enough to know why. But of course, if you are one of those little kids who honestly think it's totally fine to run around in real life or on the internet calling people effing N-word F-words, okay. So, to everyone with at least half a brain, here we have two bad people. One bad person turns to the other and exposes her for being bad, even though he is guilty for being the very same thing. Result? She gets hated on, he gets celebrated like a hero. Hardly seems to make sense, right? But in fact, it does. This because these two people have one major difference. Difference of how they publicly portray themselves. Let's focus on the Saint first. Like some others, I had never heard of her before watching the episode of Content Cop, and what I was shown of her, it wasn't hard to quickly put together what kind of a person she presented herself as. She's kind, she's good, most likely she's better than you, a role model everyone should strive to be like. Fair play, good for her. There was just one little problem, as shown by the Content Cop video. That's not who she was, who she really was. Turned out that the Saint portrayed herself one way and acted entirely another.
For being a person who's constantly preaching about being more tolerant of others and spreading positivity and spreading love to other people, you sure are one hateful bitch.
I didn't make videos for my videos to be a place and a space of negativity. If Idubbbz broke both of his legs and lost all of his subscribers, I would be genuinely happy. What I did to Idubbbz to deserve any of this? Broke both of his legs and lost all of his subscribers. I don't know what I did to this human being. Broke both of his legs. I don't understand what I did to deserve this. Broke both of his legs and lost all of his subscribers. I would be genuinely happy. Like, he's a terrible person.
What this did, it outed her as a pretentious poser, a hypocrite. And to many people on the internet, being a hypocrite is one of the worst things a person can be. So in the court of public opinion, she gets blasted. To most, rightfully so. On the other side, there's Idubbbz. And with Idubbbz, there's no misleading, there's no deception, there's no beating around the bushes at all. He's a bad person and he's very upfront about it. With this guy, what you see is what you get. Yes, Idubbbz has done the exact same things he accused the Saint of doing. Yes, he's actually done much worse. Some say it's justified because it's his self-comedy, others because of something else. Ultimately here, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that unlike the Saint, he does not try to portray himself as something untruthful. He's not a poser, he's not a hypocrite. He knows exactly what he does and he owns up to it. And for that, he gets away with it. But all we've discussed so far has been on the side of defense. If you want to bring down giants, you can't just have armor, you also need something to shoot with. You need effective ammo. Up next is someone everyone should recognize. The highlight of the more recent, one of the more successful episodes of Content Cop, the Baller. The story of the Baller is a bit different from earlier examples. Unlike the bully, he did manage to come up with a reply that at least some people could get behind. But still, even he had to give up a bit of props. He complimented Idubbbz's work and even praised it in some form. If you're wondering why he did that, let's just say it's not because he wanted to. It's because what he says in his response is very much true. The Content Cop video did pack quite a bit of punch when it comes to substance. It's this feature that makes Idubbbz so unlike anyone else. He chokes on the level of a 10-year-old, he acts like a total moron, he does everything in his power to make you think he's not intelligent. But the truth couldn't be further from it. Behind this image of a grown adult puking out paint, believe it or not, is one of the smartest people on YouTube. He'll not only dig up the dirt you've done in the past, he does it in a way that's still relevant today. Example, the Baller responds to one of Idubbbz's shots by bringing up a deleted video from his past, saying everyone changes over time. Fair point. At least it would be if it actually applied. See, Idubbbz has changed over the years, but as was evident in the Baller's response, he hadn't.
You kind of have to show that you've changed. But what you've done in this video is you've shown that you have not changed at all.
Therefore, Idubbbz's criticism was still very much valid. The Baller tried to bring it down, it just didn't turn out to be as easy as he had assumed. Little piece of advice, if you choose to battle this man, whatever you do, do not just shrug him off as what you see. Another argument the Baller threw at Idubbbz was that because Content Cop episodes are so infrequent, this means he always does months upon months of research, as if doing research could somehow be viewed as a bad thing. That being said, I don't think that's true to begin with. I don't think Idubbbz does months of research. He does do research and he does it well, but he doesn't do it for months on end. Content Cop episodes are infrequent, but it's not because Idubbbz couldn't do more. He could do more. He could do an episode every 2 weeks, he could probably even do one each and every week. But he doesn't. Instead, he stays smart about it. He doesn't attack people left and right just for the most amount of views and money possible, he only attacks people who in some form or another deserve it. That's one of the key reasons he has always managed to keep the audience on his side, and it also makes every content cop an event. We've gone over a few points now, and hopefully the picture is starting to make sense. But there is one more thing. One more feature that lifts Idubbbz and Content Cop above every other channel like him. The flair. Last but not least, the reporter. If you know anything about the reporter, you know for a fact he's not one to let people walk over him and get away without retaliation.
You know how they've been contacting me saying that you've been dating some like 14-year-old French girl? Just please swing at me. If you're gonna swing at me, dude. Let me know, because I got files on top of files to swing back at.
So when there came a content cop focusing on him, surely that was the point where someone finally fired back with real hard ammo. Except it never happened. There was no retaliation at all.
So I finally watched the Idubbbz video from beginning all the way to end. And so many of you keep asking me for an official response. I find it almost impossible to fight with people who I think are funny. Idubbbz knows I've been watching his videos forever. He knows I'm a fan of him. And I'm just not mad. It's funny. Like, I like that dude's videos.
One of Idubbbz's strongest abilities is the sense of scale he continuously manages to spin onto his episodes. He's always prepared to take that one extra step for presentation. He dives down into the sewers, he interacts out in public, he drives to his targets to confront them face to face, he uses people's own type of content against them. Each and every time he goes above and beyond to do things no one else has even thought of doing. It's this feeling of event that draws in 20 million people per episode time and time again. When this man does not fire back at your insults but instead just mentions that he likes your content, you know you've done something right. Out here on YouTube, there lives a man. The most dangerous man across the entire platform. A man with just few core qualities that make him so feared by everyone else. He's confident, upfront, smart, he knows how to put on a show, and he also eats paint. The boogeyman of YouTube. Thank you all very much for watching as always. I know I'm just an outside spectator here and that ultimately the only one who truly knows what exactly is going on in Idubbbz's head is Idubbbz himself, but hopefully this analysis was pretty good and shed some light on what exactly makes him so untouchable and one of a kind. Be sure to leave a comment on the topic below. If you agree with some of the points made, or if you think there's more qualities I missed, let me know. Or if you, for example, took issue with me daring to assume that using phrases like the F word and the N word makes someone not so good of a person, and know for a fact I couldn't be more in the wrong, let me know too. Thanks.